Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be covering how to write better prompts to your AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Copilot, and you get smarter AI results, and you don't have to iterate so much in getting your desired results. This is basically I'll be touching upon somewhat prompt engineering and prompt modeling. So let's get straight into it. So what exactly is prompt engineering? So the art and science of designing inputs to get useful outputs from AI systems is called prompt engineering. I'll cover some of the basics. If you already know some basics, you can skip. But what does a good prompt look like and what does a bad prompt look like? So a good prompt will set a clear role, provide specific context, and give constraint. But what a bad prompt is, it will be too vague, like tell me about marketing, tell me about operations. Those kinds of things will be very vague and will give you no output will be very generic. So there are a lot of types of prompts. Here I am covering only four. The first one is instructional prompt. Imagine that you want to summarize some email. You want to do some task-oriented things. Very quick task-oriented things are structured as instructional prompt. So, say for example, summarize this email for a busy executive. This is a very direct task-oriented statement. Okay. Now, the next is a role-based prompt. A role-based prompt is specially used when you want to apply some domain knowledge into it. So, for example, you can use act as a product manager, act as a marketing specialist, act as a uh, data science specialist at a certain type of startup, write a PRD document for a new feature. So these are the role-based prompts. The next type of prompts is few short prompts. So whenever you're trying to come up with title ideas, names, all these things, right? Few short prompting will be very useful. Say for example, here are three catchy YouTube titles for the videos. Say for example, how I save 50,000 in 3 months, budgeting for beginners, 5 hacks that actually work, and you are broke because of this. Now generate five similar tone. In few short prompting, you give 3 to 4 examples of the tone or the structure that you want in your title or anything, and then ask Gemini to or ask ChatGPT to generate a more similar uh, output. The last but not the least is chain of thought prompting. Uh, One of the most powerful things that you can write in 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 a prompt is let's think step by step. Say whenever you want to do a chain of thought prompting, you have to start with the line that calls let's think step by step. You can read more about these kinds of prompts on various platforms, and you can ask even ChatGPT to summarize these kinds of prompts. But when you are prompting next, do keep in mind what type of prompt that you are typing in. Let's go ahead and see a prompt structure formula. This is a generic formula which you can apply today uh, in your prompting any prompt that you're trying to generate. Any prompt has five basic key elements. The first one is role. Say the second one is the task that you actually want to perform. Third is context, the context that you want to give to the AI model. Fourth, very important, is format. Uh, we want as a table, as a professional email, as a small uh, poem, can be anything. Format. The last but not the least, which is missed a lot, is constraint. Say, I'll give an example to make this very clear. Say you are a senior HR manager. The senior HR manager here is a role. Write an email to employees announcing a new remote work policy. This is your task. Next is a context. Context. The company has recently adopted a hybrid model to improve flexibility. This is your context. The fourth one is format. Format it as a professional email. This is your format. Say for you want a email kind of output from your uh, Gemini or ChatGPT. The final thing is keep it under 150 words. This is your constraint. So this structure, prompt structure, you can use as and when required. It is not necessary that the prompt that you are putting in should have these five things. Slowly, you can add more for more structure into the prompts. You first start off with the only two lines. You are senior HR manager. Write an email to the employees. Then after that output, provide more context to it. Then provide more format to it. And then in the end, provide constraint to it. In this way, if your prompt is becoming too big, try to break it down into smaller chunks, but keep these five things in mind. This will give you immense great results when you are trying to prompt. Next is something to keep in mind. Keeping in mind, see, any AI tool is not human. After all, it's AI. So you have to be very specific and be very clear. Sarcasm and things that are in the tone are not picked up by AI, right? Hey, so make sure that you are very clear and very specific. Imagine AI as your intern from a highly qualified intern from top college who knows everything, but you have to be very clear in assigning what you're trying to get from it. Next, that is missed a lot is provide examples to guide tone or format. So you know what kind of format you are looking for or what kind of tone you are looking for. If not, try to play around with various tones inside the prompt itself. Whenever you're prompting as a human being also, when you break a bigger task into step by step, you're able to solve these things better. Same thing applies to um, the AI tools as well, that you break the complex task into step by step. And last but not the least, be the human in the loop. You should always be the human in the loop. What does that mean? So you have to review and iterate and check what output that LLM is providing. Okay, so let's get on to this is somewhat basics of prompt engineering. Now let's go to prompting models. Prompting models is something that I have come up with, and the idea is picked up from mental models. There are a lot of frameworks in solving problems, especially taught in MBA colleges, in strategy courses, and a lot of consultants also apply these kinds of frameworks. So why not combine those two things into something, a structure for a prompt? So this is called prompting models. I'll be covering some five prompting models. These are some basic prompting models. Maybe in future I'll try to cover more. The first one is from McKinsey Misi. The inspiration is from Misi strategy. So Misi means mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. So to structure the prompt in such a way, the first thing is ask clarifying questions. Second, break down the problem in a Misi style. Third, recommend actions per category. The example can be act as a McKinsey consultant. A SaaS startup is losing market share. You have to ask first clarifying question, then use the Misi principle to categorize potential causes, and finally suggest actions. Uh, so when you use this, the output will be aligned to mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive thoughts. So this will be very useful when you are doing structured thinking, when you are doing strategy generations, or you're trying to make basic decisions. The next one is the multi-format content spinner. The multi-format content spinner is, say you want to ingest a long form content, and then you want to post that long form content that you have created into various different channels or content channels like LinkedIn, YouTube. You want to do a Medium blog, all those things in one shot. So you post your content and write, convert this blog into a Twitter thread, a LinkedIn carousel, a 60-second YouTube script, and a Medium article. Make sure to include that each version should be engaging for the platform while retaining its tone and its key insights. So these kinds of this will help you create in one shot a lot of the content that you can post everywhere. The next is role-based roundtable. You might have seen a lot of these panel debates. There are experts from various fields, and then they are discussing and stress testing an idea. So here, the idea is you can ask LLM to and assign it 3 to 5 expert personas. Ask each of their POVs and then synthesize insights. So where this structure can be useful. Say for example, you are presenting a strategy deck to your executives. You can upload your strategy deck into ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot and then assign 3 to 5 expert personas that are actually going to attend that meeting and then practice your uh, your script and ask for the questions that might come up. So this can be very useful for practicing any of the presentations that you're doing, or even thinking from all the angles. A bonus strategy that you can read about is Six Thinking Hats. It was a very popular book, which you can also refer for making the role-based roundtable framework your own. The next is very useful when you're trying to learn a new concept. It's called the ladder of abstraction. This is picked up from Feynman's technique and very useful in learning new things, explaining, and especially for teachers as well who might be seeing this video. Say, for example, you start with a beginner friendly explanation, then move to intermediate, and then last in-depth and expert level. Again, for examples, you want to understand GANs, the generative adversarial networks. So you can start off with you want to explain GANs in 3 levels for a high school student, for a CS major, and for an AI researcher. In this way, the LLM output, you'll be able to synthesize it in a much more better way. Last but not the least is a product strategies toolkit. This is picked up from ideas from Lean Canvas, SWOT analysis, and JTBD analysis, that is jobs to be done. So, say for example, the structure of the prompt can be generate product ideas based on the problem statement, do JTBD analysis, after that run SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat, and finally suggest an MVP roadmap. So this can be a structure where you are doing some go-to-market strategies or doing market validation or just generating product ideas. This can be very useful. So what I am trying to cover here is that uh, use as many frameworks that are researched upon from years and years in strategy books. Try to research on these frameworks, then even ask ChatGPT to convert it into a prompt and then finally use it. Now here is a bonus tip. The bonus tip is that use LLM-A for generating prompt for LLM-B. You ask LLM-A, say for example, I'll give example of Gemini and ChatGPT. So go to Gemini and ask to it to generate a prompt based on that idea. Then you critique and reiterate on that prompt. Now take that prompt from Gemini and paste it in ChatGPT. Make sure that these two don't share memories. Don't you should not do prompting in the same in the same LLM. Say for example, in Gemini you created a prompt, then try to run it. No, create a prompt in one place, execute it in others because they share memories. So the thing is, you'll be able to identify logic gaps. It will provide more clarity, and the finalized prompt in LLM-V will give a very good result. What you can do is also execute the same in LLM-A and then compare and cross-validate the two. So that is all I had today for the prompt engineering and prompt modeling. Hope you like it, and please share some of your thoughts in, and if it is useful for you, please do write it in the comment section below. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day or rest of the night. Bye bye.